In your headlines, coronavirus cases have soared in the TCI. The Ministry of Education addresses the resumption of schools, and police confirm the first murder of 2022.
From the PTV Broadcasting Headquarters in Providenciales, your number one source for news, I'm Erica Pinales, delivering the latest from across the country this Tuesday. News edition right to your door. Newswatch starts now.
Police confirmed the first murder of 2022. Just 3 days into the new year, and already a heinous act of violence has resulted in another life lost. Newswatch with the details out of the nation's capital.
In the nation's capital, barely 3 days after ringing in the new year, on January 3rd at around 1 a.m., a woman would make a frantic call to 911, informing police that someone was forcibly trying to enter her home. When police officers arrived at the house located on the ridge in Grand Turk, they met the lifeless body of the 60-year-old woman with a wound to the head. The woman, whose identity has not been released by police, is said by residents to be Caucasian and a longtime resident and business owner over on the island. Crime has seen a big spike in the last few months, the country recording more than 5 murders and a number of shooting incidents between the months of September 2021 through January 2022, with a busy week for criminals and law enforcement during the last days of the year. 2022 has gotten off on a very frantic foot for law enforcement, as Premier Honorable Washington Mizik commented on the spike, saying that dialogue is ongoing with authorities.
I am in contact with the governor and the Commissioner of Police. The Commissioner of Police is back on island. The Deputy Commissioner is back on island. I believe there's significant intelligence that have been gathered around what is happening. I have confirmation from the governor that the governor and the commissioner and myself will speak to the public about this immediately soon after the holiday to bring you up to date as to what is happening and what the plans are.
This death is recorded as the first homicide of 2022. Police are appealing for anyone who may have information regarding this crime or any crime that has taken place to call 911 or Crime Stoppers to leave tips anonymously at 1-800-8477. PTV extends condolences to that family.
As we finally rolled over into the new year, the Honorable Minister of Education, Rachel Taylor, was present at a press conference where she addressed plans for the resumption of schools. Newswatch brings you more. Taylor mentioned in the press conference that prior to the formal conference, the resumption of school, she and her team met with education officers and principals from schools all over the TCI for the plan of the outcome of the resumption of schools. The Honorable Minister of Education announced that, quote, with immediate effect, public schools remain closed for the remainder of this week, end quote. She continued, while this is the case, public school teachers who have already been tested and are negative will report for work to prepare for virtual classes. Honorable Taylor also advised all schools to use this time to review the COVID-19 protocols, refresh and strengthen them wherever necessary. She mentioned that classes in public schools will commence on Monday, January 10th, using virtual platforms. Private schools have the option to begin virtual classes this week, Tuesday or Monday, January 10th. Virtual classes for all schools, public and private, will continue until Friday, the 14th of January. Taylor said that, quote, if there's an additional spike in the number of cases, all schools will remain in virtual mode for an additional 2-week period up to the 28th of January, end quote. She mentioned that, quote, if the number of positive cases across the country remain the same as they are now or decrease between the 16th of January, the ministry may give approval for schools with fewer than 200 students to return to full face-to-face classes, end quote. In addition, schools with more than 200 students may be given approval to commence a hybrid program, but stagger the way classes are brought in.
It's time for a quick break. When we return, more Newswatch.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Coronavirus have soared in the TCI just a few weeks after the Omicron variant, said to be the most transmissible strain to date, emerged out of South Africa. We bring you the latest.
Scores of persons lined up at the National Stadium to undergo community testing for COVID-19 as numbers soar for the TCI. Cases back up to record highs for the country as we anticipate another big spike following some gatherings and events held last weekend to ring in the new year. The dashboard portrayed 326 cases on January 1st and has since dropped to 306. However, cases are expected to fluctuate.
With more movement, there's chances of increased cases being the result. That's just a reality. That's something we've seen before. That's why we would have been giving cautions, encouragements, and warnings on how persons should behave during the holiday season, so we could minimize that.
Officials are back to intensively reviewing the dashboard in order to instate best practices against the spread of the virus. Minister of Health, Honorable Jamel Robinson, says the Omicron variant has likely made it to our shores after first emerging out of South Africa in mid-November.
And given that we would have had several confirmed infections or positive tests from visitors from countries that would have had COVID-19 or Omicron, I think it's safe enough to say that it's likely here. And again, it's not confirmed this yet, but that's likely. So that'll be a part of it as well.
The variant is said to be the most transmissible strain of them all to date. Considering this, Honorable Robinson says persons should act cautiously and accordingly.
Whether it's confirmed or not, we are operating as if Omicron is here. So if a more infectious variant of the COVID-19 virus is here, then we're likely to see the spread within the community.
Officials have revealed that most of the persons presenting with positives are showing symptoms. However, despite the spike in cases, government has made the decision to remain curfew-free, and the latest COVID measures remain in effect. Officials say for now there is no immediate need for lockdown. However, the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health have made the decision to postpone face-to-face learning for students across the country.
Information about COVID-19 over time has rapidly changed with the emergence of each new variant. The Honorable Minister of Health and Human Services, Jamel Robinson, tells us to know the facts and stay calm. Here's more. In a message from the Minister of Health, Honorable Jamel Robinson, he shares the importance of being boosterized, seeing as though COVID is still very much active in the TCI as well as the rest of the world, especially with the emergence of each new variant.
The virus has infected millions of persons across the globe and many here in the TCI. But while COVID has been a tough adversary, we've shown that we're tougher. Tougher because we have the power of science and vaccines that prevent severe illness and save lives. And tougher because of our resolve.
He continued to share the advantage we have after getting boosterized, as it would then reduce the risk of being hospitalized while adding an extra layer of protection to combat COVID-19.
The new COVID-19 variant Omicron spreads easily, but if you have fully vaccinated and have gotten boosterized, that third important dose, you have a higher degree of protection against severe illness. That's also a fact.
Honorable's message to the citizens and residents of the TCI is that his team has repeatedly said that booster shots provide the strongest of protection.
Equally important to mention is that booster shots in the TCI are still widely available and at no cost to residents wishing to receive it. While the recent spike is shocking to most, as a country, we've been here before. However, we are 2 years wiser in dealing with COVID-19, and we currently have an over 80% vaccination rate, which no doubt puts us in a great position. I can assure you that your Ministry of Health, your minister, and your government continues to monitor, assess, and reassess the facts on the ground and are willing and able to respond appropriately to ensure the safeguard of lives and livelihoods as we promised.
He added that we should all be concerned about Omicron, but not panic.
If you're fully vaccinated, and especially if you got your booster shot, you are highly protected from severe illness. And if you're unvaccinated, you are at a higher risk of getting severely ill from COVID-19 and being hospitalized. Get vaccinated. My ministry, though focused on the increase in numbers, is satisfied with minimal hospitalizations and urge you to take personal responsibility to ensure that this statistic remains so. Please continue to adhere to the health protocols. Wear your mask/face covering properly, covering your nose and mouth. Wash your hands frequently and sanitize them often. Stay 6 feet apart from other persons. Protect your safety and the safety of your loved ones. Thank you.
We'll be right back when we return your weather forecast. Sister Craft Market Souvenir Shop. Come and visit us for your travel keepsakes, keychains, artwork, t-shirts, clothing, jewelry, and many more. We're located at the Lower Bight gas station in Providenciales, and you can contact us at 649-341-3070. That's 649-341-3070. Sister Craft Market and Souvenir Shop.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Here's your weather forecast for January 5th, 2022. On the nation's capital, Grand Turk, on Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high 80, low 75, winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. On South Caicos on Wednesday, sunshine and clouds mixed, high 80, low 75, winds east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On North and Middle Caicos on Wednesday, partly cloudy skies, high 80, low 74, winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. On Parrot and Pine Key on Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high 80, low 73, winds east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And on Providenciales on Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high 80, low 73, winds east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. For your sunrise and sunset, the sun will rise at 6:30 a.m. and set at 5:21 p.m. For your high tides and low tides, high tide at 9:31 a.m. and 10:01 p.m. and your low tides at 3:09 a.m. and 3:54 p.m. And that's it for your weather forecast. We'll be right back for more News Watch.
Here at People's Television, we're more than just your leading news and entertainment services. We are
Spreading the gospel.
We are breaking barriers.
We are preserving the culture. Each one, teach one.
We are committed to excellence.
We're creating change.
We are creating memories.
We are the future.
I am PTV.
I am PTV. I am PTV.
I am PTV.
We are PTV.
We are continuing the legacy. We are PTV.
In this next story, we take a look at the effects that throwaway culture and fast fashion is having on the environment and what we can do to reduce wastage while also helping the society.
Fashion is a billion-dollar industry that is indulged in by people of any age, gender, or class. Fast fashion brands such as ASOS is valued at $6 billion in the UK alone. And on average globally, 70 pounds of clothing is thrown away despite the fact that 95% of the textiles produced could have been either reused or recycled. We spoke with Amy Avanen, who gave us a brief definition of fast fashion.
Fast fashion is based purely on the value of consuming. So the more you buy, the more it's all about supply and demand. So the demand is high because trends are changing so quickly, and these fast fashion items are usually very much on trend. So usually by next season, you're not going to be wearing it, and it's something that you'll get rid of. And so fast fashion is also made cheaply, often with very poor labor conditions. So, you think of things, clothing made in Vietnam, China, Cambodia. It's often very safe to assume, unless they advertise otherwise, that labor involved is either underpaid or is actually child labor, which is far more common than we might like to admit ourselves.
How does this relate to the TCI? While TCI does not manufacture these products, she explained that the imports of clothing to the islands produces a larger carbon footprint than there is when a product is sold to a buyer in the country of origin.
In the TCI, we are importing, so anything we purchase here, be it a can of tuna or if it's a shirt, anything we purchase has a larger footprint than other items that you might purchase in the USA. Let's say something's been made in the USA and you purchase it in the USA. Its footprint is much smaller than purchasing it here because it has had to travel. And when things travel, there is an impact in terms of carbon emissions. So when we talk about a footprint, we're talking about a carbon emission footprint.
Amy said that being environmentally conscious is no easy feat and that it takes intentionality to form good habits.
From an environmental point of view, it's about setting and following through with your intention, right? It's intentionality. Fast fashion is available to us here in TCI because it's often far cheaper. So when we bring items in and we tack on a 30% duty fee, then it's still something that's affordable. But by next season, we're getting rid of it. We're either throwing it away, which means here it's going straight into the landfill. And of course, the complexities of a landfill on an island is that our land is a limited resource.
Meaning that the bigger the landfill, the less land there is to build homes or cultivate food. We took to the streets to uncover alternative ways you can ensure your clothes are put to good use. At the Salvation Army, pre-owned and brand new clothing donations are collected and sold, the funds of which are used to contribute to areas of society where help is needed most.
Every item you see here in the store has been donated. We make a lot of money through our donations. This money goes back on the island, and we have a whole program of events. Feeding children in school is only one of many programs.
Miss Pauline, as she calls herself, says that there is a stigma that is associated with secondhand clothing. However, she assured us that the shop ensures every item is in tip-top shape.
And our store, well, it's like our second home. We want it that other people are welcome to come in and visit. Do we think we'll be judged because our home is in top order? Personally, for me, yes. Hence, everything has to look sparkling. We're in the morning, we're getting it fixed before we even open the door. And COVID has actually been of benefit in the respect that we are having more donations. We're having better donations.
You can also donate to other charities on the island, or you can ensure that your clothes are put to good use by wearing them several times, buying quality clothing over quantity, and by avoiding buying into trends.
That brings us to the end of this edition of The Real News. I hate to leave you so soon, but of course you can join us right back here every weekday at 6:30 p.m. and tap into our social media platforms at www.ptvatci.com. I'm Erica Penales, keeping you informed, updated, and affiliated. Until next time.